Hello, my name's Todd. I'm one of the owners of Pooch Parents, poochparents.com. I'm going to be doing a video on the PetFeedster, the automatic food dispenser. Well, if you've seen the manufacturer's video on this product, you would think that the majority of the calls or emails that I get from customers are going to be on, well, Todd, is it true? Is it really a no jam system? Or hey, how does that water tray thing work? I have a couple of questions about that. No, it's not about that. It's actually, Todd, I'm looking at this PetFeedster thing. Why is it $200? I mean, you have other units on your site, Todd, that are like 70 bucks. I mean, what makes this thing so special? And then, of course, you know, I go through the whole spiel like I'm going to here in a second. And hopefully by the end of the telephone call or at the end of this video, you'll understand why I feel it's worth every penny. There you go. Not even going to make you wait to the end of the video to figure out what I think about this product. There it is. I love it. Well, anyway, let me point out the major elements of this particular unit. You have the main storage unit / brains. Right here is actually the little LCD control panel. You have the food bowl, you have the lid, which goes on the top, obviously. You have the power supply, you have the base. Now, one of the unique things about this unit is the fact that they give you this base. This base allows you to fill it with water. They suggest add a little bleach. I've got a pet kid that, we live in Arizona, so it gets warm down here, and it kind of worries me that he'll go, the water smells kind of weird, but I'm thirsty, and somehow get his tongue in there. It's be really tough to do, but I just don't want to take the risk. So I don't add bleach to the water. I just put water in here. There's a thing called evaporation that takes place. So you're going to probably be adding water to this, and when I do that, I usually just take the main unit off of the base and clean this up and add water to it. Not a big deal, minus the bleach. But anyway, they do this because they know that little critters are going to want to get to the stored food. And this little water tray prevents them from being able to make it to the food. So you can stick this outside. You can, if you have a problem with bugs or whatever, having food out with bugs inside the house, this will prevent them from being able to get to the food store. Nobody else on the market has this feature, and I think it's pretty clever. I think it really adds a lot of flexibility to the product. Now, what's also neat, and there are other units that offer this as well, but not quite like these guys do, is that it runs off battery power. So let's say you do want to put this unit outside on the patio, or let's say you want to put it inside the house, and the only place you really want to put it, there's not an outlet nearby. You can run it off of battery juice. To me, that's huge. It's also nice that they designed it so that you can take the power cord, so you can run this obviously off an outlet as well, but they allow you to unplug the power cord completely from the unit. One of my pet kids, he likes to chew on everything. Having this cable right next to his food, it's just a recipe for disaster, because you would end up chewing on this. So being able to remove it completely from the unit is nice. It makes the unit a lot more flexible as far as placement, and it also prevents damage if you have a dog that likes to gobble up things. Now, this, I'll get a little bit of a close-up on this. This is the heart and soul of this particular unit. This is what makes it so it will not jam. This is the heart and soul of the unit. And when you look at it, you're going to go, looks kind of cheap. Well, they definitely didn't over-engineer this, and they didn't under-engineer it either. You kind of get a feel, and you'll know if you decide to purchase this and you look at this, you're going to go, I can kind of see what Todd means by this. There's not a whole lot to it. But this fits inside the food store, and that's what the engine turns. This turns it, and this is what feeds the food through. I have not been able to get this unit to jam. And I'm a trained professional. I've tried small kibble with large kibble. I've tried damp kibble with dry kibble, large, huge kibble, broken up treats. I've done everything to get this thing to jam. And if it's not bigger in diameter than this is basically as big as the chute is, it simply will not jam. It's every bit of what they say in their manufacturer's video, which is rare because a lot of times they claim, oh, this thing's spectacular, and then when you get it home and whatever the circumstances are, it just doesn't seem to work. Well, this one seems to work. Now, here you go. Disclaimer time. Boop, 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 boop. Is there a situation where it could jam? Obviously, I mean, nothing's perfect. I mean, there's 1,000 million billion different scenarios that are going to go on with this unit. And somebody inevitably is going to get the thing to jam. The bottom line is that it's a heck of a lot more reliable than everything else that's out there, in my opinion. So that really elevates it into kind of a unique class. There's really nobody else up there with it. Now, who spends $200 on an automatic food dispenser? Again, going back to the phone calls and the emails, a lot of people are just like, Todd, I just don't know. I mean, it's just a huge amount of money. And it is. I mean, $200 for an automatic food dispenser is a huge amount of money. I mean, that should be obvious to anybody. And if it's not, then you got to kind of wonder about their sanity. Well, I put it this way. If you are like my wife and I, and you are 100% dependent on something like a food dispenser, and it just keeps you up at night, or you can't focus at work, not knowing whether it's going to work or not, then this is worth every penny. Because it's going to work the majority of the time. So you know that your pet kids are going to be taken care of. If you have a weird shift or something, or whatever it might be, if you're the type of person that buys an auto food dispenser and expects it to work 100% of the time, which I fall into that category, then why not spend a little bit more and get something that does exactly that? Now, if you're going to buy a food dispenser, auto food dispenser, and it's not critical that it works every time, first off, I kind of would shake my head and go, well, why spend the money on it at all? But if an 80% success rate or a 70% success rate is okay with you, let's say it's just to alleviate you having to get up in the morning to feed your pet, then sure, I mean, that would be okay. If it jams up, you just go out in the morning, an hour later, kick it, your dog eats then, or your cat eats then. But if you don't have the flexibility in there, then spend a little bit more. My advice, spend a little bit more and get something that you know is going to work the majority of the time. I'm not going to say all the time, but the majority of the time. And that's where the PetFeedster excels. So would I personally use it? Absolutely. Now, is it difficult to program and all that good stuff? I probably should talk about that a little bit. These are the directions. They obviously are trying to save a tree. Because this is really it. I mean, it opens up. I mean, it's kind of like a legal sized piece of paper. And if you go, well, I mean, if it's easy to operate, Todd, then they wouldn't need a lot of directions. Well, that's true. And then you open it up and find out it's in like 4 different languages on this particular paper. So, is it difficult to program? I actually found that setting the time on the stupid thing was the most difficult. And then once I figured out what all the buttons did, and there's 3 buttons that you have to mess with to get everything to work just right. Once you figure out by just setting the time, then setting the portion amount, because you can adjust the portion amount as well. It's pretty simple, and then by the time you adjust the portion amount, then you figured out what all the buttons do. And setting the times that it dispenses is even easier. Now you can set this to dispense on multiple times throughout the day. So if you want to feed like we do, we feed our dogs in the morning, we feed them at night, you can set that up that way so that you don't even have to mess with it after that. Not just like one time a day, you can multiple times a day. So that's kind of neat. So I do give this unit a huge thumbs up. I like it a lot. I think that it is worth every penny. It is expensive. I mean, again, nobody is going to argue that, but it is the most effective product out there in the auto food dispense category. Plain and simple. I haven't seen anything better. All right. Well, if you do have questions, email Jane or I, or you can call. Email is the quickest way because obviously if we're out and about, we can still return your emails. But if we're in the office, we'll return your call as fast as we can. Thank you again, and thanks for tuning in.